So Mowgli is 2.5 years old, pretty close to turning 3, probably 3 in like the middle of February. He is half golden retriever, half Australian shepherd.
The reason we needed a dog trainer was because as a puppy, Mowgli was pretty sick, so we weren't able to socialize him with other dogs. He actually didn't meet his first dog until he was a year old. So he was very well socialized with people, but very reactive on the leash. He would practically pull us down the street like a sleigh dog, and we were just at a point where we really needed a fix because it was just getting more stressful having to take him out to go even to the bathroom. So we just needed a solution.
All right. So as Mowgli and I would, take a daily walk, it became kind of the most stressful part of my day because Mowgli would, as soon as we're out the door, just feel like he needed to be as far away from me as possible. However long the leash was, he was stretching it to its max at pretty much every instance on a 10, 15, 20-minute walk. And what escalated things is anytime we would see a dog on the other side of the street, 3 blocks away, I feel like it got to the point where he was just smelling other dogs and pulling me in that direction as hard as he possibly could, growling, acting threatening, totally not like himself, like how I, would see him around the house. And it just became really stressful and difficult to deal with.
We also tried so many different leashes. We tried like the one that wraps around the mouth. We tried like the harness. We tried quite literally anything we possibly could have found as to try a different solution, and nothing was working. The one that went around his mouth ended up making him more aggressive because he felt like he couldn't defend himself if he had to. So we just desperately wanted to be able to walk him and not feel like that was something that wasn't fun to do, because walking him should be something fun to do. And realizing that it's not about like what type of leash you use, but like where you want him to be, and we couldn't figure that out because we were just grasping at straws trying to figure out a different solution by changing his leash like every couple of months. But now we're fine.
Temporary fixes.
Yeah.
So I remember Breyers, the first time we met, was explaining to me what it means when a dog is that reactive on a leash. He felt like he needed to get to those other dogs and that the leash was restricting him from getting there. So taking away his need to get to other dogs and having him focused on something else was really the key for me.
I think the narrative that we have set going forward is that he knows what the right decision is to make now. He now has the tools to be able to go out and know that other dogs aren't important, like other distractions are important. Squirrels don't matter. It's like the reward that matters, and looking at us and going at our pace and taking the walk together, because the moment we say his name, he is at our side, he's ready to go, and the moment we open the door, he's just constantly attentive, giving us eye contact at the same pace as us.
Now the leash is hardly even necessary. It's like a third final line of defense should anything actually have to happen. I feel like we could walk Mowgli without a leash now. Obviously we wouldn't need to do that, but that's really what Breyers teaches, is not having to use the leash to keep him at your side. But it's now gotten to the point where Mowgli will stick to my side if he goes a little bit in front of me. If he's dragging a little bit behind me, moving to the side, he can immediately correct from just the slightest, reinforcement of that behavior. And he's starting to catch himself and realize that his one job when we're walking is to stay right by my side. After the program, Mowgli is more attentive, and because he's more attentive, he's able to act more independently. He's gotten to the point where he can make the decision of really what's right in this scenario, and I hardly have to reinforce that anymore. So I think if you're a person who's undecided about where to take your dog for training or who to work with, just take a day to meet with Breyers. He'll come to you, he'll come to your house, meet your dog, meet you, and just listen to what he has to say for 30 minutes, an hour tops. And if after that you haven't decided that you want to work with Breyers, I would be honestly very shocked.
So I think that one of the misconceptions about training that people have, and certainly a misconception that I believe, was when you're training your dog, it's important to teach them how to sit, stay, come, lie down, like, and then you, after that, you, like the basics, you go off on this whole tangent of like, oh, shake, spin, whatever. Like, it's all about like teaching them these small little tools, but that isn't necessarily the most important, because yes, Mowgli was able to sit, but he also then went outside and reacted like crazy to other dogs. And like my roommate, she got a dog and was like, oh, like he knows how to like speak and whatever. And I was like, yes, that's so great. Like, I love that he knows how to do those things. It's so cute. And I was like, but he's a menace.
Yeah.
We just call him Menace, like Dennis the Menace, because he knows all these tricks, but he doesn't know how to behave. And I think that's like, it's the difference between like knowing tricks and knowing behavior, and that was what Mowgli learned, was like, this is the right behavior, and if you know how to do this behavior, you get rewarded for that.